Chapter 13. Your Majesty, Chase and Marshall said, bowing in respect. We have come to rescue you. The princess walked over to the pups and hugged them. Oh, how glad I am to see you both, she exclaimed. Where are the others? Ryder and the team were captured, Chase explained. Oh, dear, the princess said. I did not know. That madman has had me locked up for days. Days? Marshall asked. Yes. But I must admit, he was respectful. He may be ill-willed, but he showed respect. But I can't allow him to rule the kingdom. Actually, he plans on ruling the world, Chase corrected. That's not good, the princess said. But on to different matters. Is Sweetie okay? Sweetie's safe, Chase explained. We can take you to her. She's in town with some of our allies. That would be wonderful. But what of the guards? Jason had the castle filled with them. Marshall chuckled. Let's just say that it's going to be nap time for all of them. With the princess's help, they went to the earl's door and unlocked it. The princess unlocked the door since it was easier for her to open it with hands. They released the earl and all four of them walked down the hallway. So, I'm guessing they can't go through the crawlspace, Marshall guessed. No, Chase agreed as he thought about it. And the front gates are not an option. He looked at the princess. Is there another exit to the castle? The princess thought. The one to the garden, she said at last. From there it should be a straight path into the city. Chase and Marshall led the princess and the earl towards the garden with the occasional directions from the princess. Whenever they were met with soldiers, Chase tranquilized them before they could notify the others. When they reached the door to the gardens, they stopped. Okay, Chase said. Princess, you and the earl need to wait here with Marshall. I am going to make sure the coast is clear. The princess and the earl nodded. Be careful, Sir Chase, she said. Chase smiled at the name. Yes, Your Majesty. His night vision goggles fell over his eyes and he walked out the door. Chase expected the garden to be heavily guarded since it was the only other entrance into the castle, but it was almost the opposite. Instead of dozen guards like the front gates, the garden only had 2 guards. Since it was dark, they used flashlights as they walked around. Chase walked carefully towards a tree in the middle of the garden. He looked over at the guards. They were together, but were walking away from each other. Chase took the opportunity. He crept closer and shot the soldiers to his left in the neck. He grunted, causing the other soldiers to notice. The other soldier turned just in time to see the hymn start to sway. Matt, the soldier asked before the other soldier collapsed. The soldier looked around, pointing his gun and flashlight all over the place. He didn't see Chase, who was hiding behind the flowers. Chase shot him in the leg. The soldier looked down at the dart and then the direction of where it came from and saw Chase. A puppy? He asked, confused. You're in shock, so I'm not going to take that personally, Chase said. The soldier fell backwards onto the grass. 6. Chase went back to the others. Okay, it's safe to come out, the German shepherd told them. But I suggest we move quickly. Together, all 4 of them walked across the garden. They stayed close to the castle until they reached the main bridge. There were only 2 guards at the entrance of the castle. Okay, I only see 2 soldiers, Chase whispered. Once they fall, we need to hurry. Chapter 14. Chase crept over to the 2 soldiers. They were standing on either side of the front gates, facing the bridge. Chase looked around, making sure there were no other soldiers around. Luckily, most of the soldiers that were outside went after Solon's team. Where is everyone? One of the soldiers asked. Chase quickly ducked behind the bridge wall to not be seen. The other soldier shrugged. He pulled out his radio and spoke into it. Group 2A, what is your status? We lost the retaliators, someone responded. We are heading back now. 10 minutes out. Chase understood that he had 10 minutes before everyone returned to the castle. They had to act fast. He got right between them and quickly shot them both. He hid before they could see who did it. The soldiers winced and looked down at their legs, then at each other. Dude, why did you shoot me? The first soldier said. Why did you shoot me? The second one asked before they fell. Chase walked over to one of them. He figured that they could use the radios to know what is going on. He grabbed the radio and put it in his pup pack. Chase ran over to the others. Okay, the coast is clear, but we have to hurry. We have less than 10 minutes before the others return. Together, they all ran across the bridge and went into an alley. They took a moment to catch their breaths. The Earl was having the hardest time. The princess surprisingly was taking it easy considering she ran almost 100 yards in heels and a dress. A few minutes later, they watched as the other soldiers' groups began to cross the bridge. That's our cue to leave, Marshall guessed. Yup, Chase agreed. Let's go to the safe house. Thanks to Solon's directions. They walked through the streets towards the apartment building. They saw a few soldiers which they handled with ease. It didn't take more than a couple minutes to reach the meetup zone. The apartment building was nicer than Chase and Marshall imagined. The brick walls were painted white with no paint around windows and doorways. A garden growing some vegetables was to their left, and a small parking lot to its right. The group walked up to the main entrance, where a soldier met them. Welcome, the soldier said. Please enter the elevator and go up to the 5th floor. They thanked the soldier and walked inside. They went up the elevator and exited onto the floor. Immediately, they were taken back by how much was going on. The entire floor was stripped of walls and roofs except for some in the back. To their right, men and women were moving crates of equipment around, making more space for more stuff. On their left, tables were placed in lines like a lunch area, where some people were sitting down and talking. In front of them against the back walls, a few tables were set. Whiteboards covered the walls. Some had writing, others had drawing, but they were all full. Solon was leaning over the center table looking at a map. He was saying something to the men around him. Sweetie was pacing around in front of the table. She turned and saw the princess, immediately running to her arms. Princess, Sweetie exclaimed, you're safe. Yes, Sweetie, the princess said. Me and the Earl both to Sir Chase and Sir Marshall. Yes, we are most grateful, the Earl said. But with all respect, we must focus on stopping that wretched man. Yes, of course, Earl. Thank you, the princess replied. They walked over to the table where Solon was. As they walked, the men and women bowed their heads in respect to the princess. Princess, Solon said as he bowed. I am happy to see that you are safe. Thank you, Solon, the princess replied. I was informed that you needed my help. Is this still the case? Solon frowned. Sadly, yes. Unfortunately, we didn't meet up to hang out. I have a plan to take out the man of your throne, but first, we need to find the rest of the Paw Patrol first. Ryder will know the best way to get through with the mission, so rescuing them is our main priority at the moment. Chase had moved next to Solon. As far as we know, the team was split in two, he continued. ThreadyRumble base and CL-18 base, these are the names of the bases they are in. Solon touched a button and the map in front of him formed heat signals around Barkingburg. We have found 5 different heat signatures from his bases across town, Solon said. I sent some men to check them and they all are reported to look the same. We have no idea which bases we are looking for. That's where you come in, princess. The princess looked at the map. I know that ThreadyRumble base is right here. She pointed at one of the bases next to the forest. She looked across the map and pointed at the base on the opposite side of town. And this is CL-18 base. Makes sense to choose the furthest bases from each other, Solon said. We'll make 2 teams. Me and my 3 men will meet with Luna and her pack to check out the ThreadyRumble base. Chase, you will lead a team of Marshall, Sweetie, and some of my men to CL-18. We will hit them at the same time. We will have a tight opening, but it's our only one. Everyone understands? Everyone nodded. Good. Operation Fight for Family is on a go. Chapter 15. Ryder and the pups were getting tired of moving around. First, they were forced out of Adventure Bay and taken to Barkingburg. There, they got a speech from the king and then put in a cell until they moved again into the main room, where the king was nowhere to be found. They waited about 20 minutes until the front doors swung open, and the team got forced into the back of two separate trucks. Ryder, Sky, and Rubble were in one, while Everest, Rocky, and Zuma were in another. Ryder didn't understand why they would put them in different trucks if they all fit in one. His best guess was that they were going to separate places. The thought of that made his stomach turn. Ryder didn't like being separated from his pups more than they had to be. 1. After some minutes of not knowing where they were, the truck stopped. A soldier opened the tailgate. He led Ryder, Sky, and Rubble out of the vehicle and made them follow him. The soldier led them through a base that Ryder didn't recognize. At the entrance was a sign that read Base CL-18. Tents stretched far and wide, covering at least an acre of land. Ryder noticed soldiers carrying boxes, forklifts moving crates, and other people just standing around. As they walked through, some soldiers looked up at them. Ryder got a glance at some of the tents as they passed. Some of the tents held bunks. One tent had tables and chairs, which Ryder guessed was the dining lounge. One particular tent caught Ryder's attention. From where the young boy stood, he could see that the tent had weapons, uniforms, and other military equipment. Ryder remembered that there was one just like it at the first camp where they were as prisoners. He started coming up with a plan to escape as he walked, but the time wasn't right. He had to wait a little longer. Ryder hoped that Chase and Marshall were coming. Ryder, Sky, and Rubble couldn't hold their own against the entire base. The soldier opened the entrance of a tent and led the 3 Paw Patrol members in. Ryder looked around the tent. Torches lit up the tent, which was unnecessary since someone piled lanterns in the corner. To their right, they set up a table with a map of Barkingburg. They circled 2 areas, one with CL-18 and the other with Trumbull. Ryder remembered the base CL-18 sign he saw when they entered the base. He figured the other marked section was the base where they took the other pups. Ryder's eyes fixed forward. In front of them was a purple and black throne. It resembled the throne at the castle, except for the colors. Sitting on the throne was the self-renowned king himself. Jason was wearing a purple suit with a black dress shirt. Jason would have blended in with the throne if it wasn't for his face and hands. Jason was sitting up with a staff in his hand. The handle was his symbol, a purple skull with a crown, wings, and stars for eyes. Jason himself looked like he was stressed out but was trying his best not to show it. "Hello, Ryder," Jason said. "Welcome to Base CL-18. From here, you will witness as I take what is to be mine." "Where are my pups?" Ryder asked in a stern voice. "As for the others who got caught with you, they are at the other base to ensure you don't revolt. I have Tristan watching their every move. And as for your 2 other mutts, Chase and Marshall, I plan on finding out where they are. They freed the princess, who knew about these bases. That is not good for me." Ryder was happy to hear that the princess was safe, but he couldn't afford to show. "You won't find them," Ryder said. "I know," Jason replied. "Luckily, I don't have to. They will find you, come for you, and I'll be ready. You may have stopped my previous attempts, but not this time. I will ensure you will never get in my way again, and you will be an example for all who try to stand up against me." Ryder looked at Sky and Rubble, who were standing behind him. They had scared faces on, and Ryder didn't blame them. The man in front of them threatened to hurt the team. For their sake, Ryder had to hold his posture. He looked back at the king. "Chase and Marshall and more intelligent than you ever will be. You're going to lose." The king laughed and stood up. "I'm going to lose? I separated your precious team. The palace and kingdom are mine. I will level your little town and create a new castle over the ruins. I will rule the world. I have enough firepower to make you disappear off the face of the planet. Enough men to march down and destroy anyone with a single word. The king got in Ryder's face. Your pathetic lives will mean nothing when I fulfill my destiny. Everyone will forget who you are. That is a promise. 1. Jason returned to his throne and plopped down. Take them to the holding tent. I have to prepare. There are 2 special guests on their way. And what a surprise they will get when they arrive. As they got pulled away, Ryder thought about Chase and Marshall. Please hurry, pups, he thought. We don't have much time.